So I, 22 female, have recently got married to an amazing man after a rather quick relationship. I met his father only one time before the wedding, 2 days prior when he flew over. He hates me for something that isn't really my fault. So when I met my husband last month, he had another fiancée, one that he had been with since they were both 14. Apparently, his family was incredibly fond of her and were excited for them to get married. I didn't mean to break them up, it was honestly innocent flirting. I feel like I should explain. So, I was in New York visiting a friend who is in NYU. While there, we went to Saks because I needed a new bag and shoes. When I was in there, my now husband was shopping for his then fiancée. He approached us and asked our opinion on a dress he was going to purchase for her. I offered to try it on so he could see, and when I came out, he said I looked better than her. This made me go for it. For the rest of the time there, he followed us around. When it was time to pay, he offered to. I refused as I had my parents' card, but he insisted. I came out of the shop with a new bag, 2 new pairs of shoes, that dress, and most importantly, a date for that night. That also feeds into the second part of why his father hates me. He believes I am a gold digger. That is a complete fallacy. I am not. I have my own money. I don't need his father's money. So what his father wants is for him to stay in Moscow for 3 months a year. I don't want to. I don't speak Russian at all. I made a compromise. His father stays in Monte Carlo half of the year. Why don't we spend 3 months of the year there when his father is also there? My father has a house there, so we wouldn't even have to buy one. Also, both of us speak French. So, anyone have advice about an awful father-in-law? Also, please don't attack me like most people do. I need advice. In other words, you went after a man who was engaged. His father rightfully has a problem with you, as you've never bothered to actually get to know each other. You're not willing to compromise on anything, attempting to learn Russian, etc. Even if you don't move to Moscow, there should be some kind of communication between you and your partner about the future. Sounds like a rushed mess. Your father-in-law isn't awful. You went after a man who was engaged. His family has every right to have misinterpreted who you are as a person. You didn't exactly start your relationship in the most moral way. Instead of blaming everyone else, try and get to know his family. There's a clear communication problem and a lack of understanding of each other. Stop blaming everyone else and start working on a way to improve your relationship with him and his family. Hello, I'm 30 male, married to 28 female for 5 years. We got hitched on February 2017. My story is a bit complicated, so it's gonna be long and I'm gonna be blunt to get your consecutive insights here. So here it goes. We are both Asians from a conservative society. My father owned a real estate business and he fixed my marriage to the daughter of his friend. Typical arranged marriage. I, at that time, had a girlfriend, but was told that my bride-to-be agreed to the wedding, so I had no choice but to agree too. Wedding night. She refuses to be intimate. I tell her it's completely okay and sleep on the sofa. We've slept in the same room, but she got the bed and I slept on the sofa for 7 months after our wedding. So 2 weeks after our wedding, she wants me to take her out, and once we do, she tells me softly that she has a boyfriend who she originally wanted to marry, but her choice was rejected by her family, as that guy had been involved with drugs, criminal activity, but nothing that serious. She broke down crying that she's at a crossroads here. I too reveal about my girlfriend. It was a public place and we got a lot of eyes looking at us, but got into the car and talked there. She told me she doesn't want a divorce, but she can't break off with her boyfriend too. I understand her situation and mentioned that she can see her boyfriend if she accepts the following conditions. Her first priority should be marriage and family. He was not to visit our marital home, ever. Protection would always be used. She gets pregnant, it's a divorce. She has to be completely honest with me and discreet with others. I won't force her to be intimate with me, and if she wants to leave, she can, but she must confess what she did. These were my conditions. You see, I was already struggling with my career being 25 at that time. My father owned the real estate business, but I wasn't interested in it. I also needed to travel a lot and had a low libido due to my stress. So a few months after that came her birthday, which I plan in a grand way, inviting her family and friends. She loved it. It was the first time we were intimate. During this time, I'll confess, I did reach out to my girlfriend, one I was dating before my marriage, but we agreed that we shouldn't do it. I told her everything. She laughed and said one day my wife will come running to me after she realizes what she's doing. So 3 years pass by like this. No one gets to know. During this 3 years, we have a good amount of like 90 plus times total. I also used to travel and handle international clients, so she had the day to herself. 2020, lockdown. It took us by surprise. I got depressed this time because we were getting half payments. She wanted to help AP out, which was a strict no for me, and we got into an argument for that. I lost both my parents 24 days apart, so it was a huge hit for me. I stayed depressed the entire time. Not once did she ask me how I was doing. Not once did she support me emotionally. I was hurt by that, to be honest. I had no options but to take charge of my father's real estate agency because I did not want it to perish. I sacrificed my dream job to do it. Come 2021, I clear us off from debts, and we are doing financially good. I actually came to love this. But then, her father passed away in May due to a stroke, and it pushed her into depression. I was there for her. I maintained household while taking care of her family. She has a younger sister, no brother, and her mother, who was in a living dead shape, while taking care of my business. My blood pressure skyrocketed. November 2021, I had to visit UK for 2 weeks, and when I came back, my wife felt like a complete new person. She grew affectionate to me. We made love several times. It was kind of awkward for me. She hugged me, cooked, told me she ended things with AP, and she sorted her feelings out. She bought me gifts, tried new dresses out. I mean, it's a good thing, right? But I was not happy. I felt something was missing or something happened. I asked her several times, but she said it's nothing. She met her therapist to get her head out from her butt, and now she is in love with me. December 18th, her friend, Jay, hits me up saying she wants to meet. Jay is a nice woman, and I actually was quite impressed with her. She's a digital artist and also a philanthropist. She told me 3 weeks after my wife's father passed away. Boyfriend called her, but she did not want it. Boyfriend tried to force her, and it got way out of hand, and she agreed to meet. But to end things. She told this to Jay beforehand. Jay was always advising her to end it. Her boyfriend tried to force himself on her, and when she refused, he slapped her. Which is why she came into senses, ran away, and cried a lot. A few days later, she went to therapist, and she actually helped her out. It all made sense until Jay dropped another bomb that another friend of theirs, R, had a huge crush on me. R is a daughter of a politician, and she openly told my wife she didn't deserve me after her and her boyfriend broke up. I was shocked how everyone knew. It turned out her boyfriend bragged about it to everyone. My wife didn't know. He is a psychopath. Everyone told my wife to end things, but she didn't listen. Her therapist told her she was in limerence, was excited about the affair. I got home that day. Wife breaks down just the moment I entered the room. She had been crying and told me everything that I already knew. She wanted to tell me this for quite some time, but she knows she did something that wasn't forgivable. She couldn't muster to tell me. She also accepted they did go raw, breaking my condition 3. However, she did not conceive. She outrightly told me if I wanted a divorce, she would accept her responsibility, come clean to everyone. She knows she's at fault. She showed me steps she's taking to improve herself, online therapy classes, talking to therapists, writing her feelings down, trying to be a better wife, reading books about affairs that have recovered. I told her I needed time to think. This time, we slept in separate rooms. I didn't celebrate her birthday, but she planned mine. It was good, but it did not make me feel a bit better. New Year was great this year. She was loving. Her mother was actually happy to see us close. I'm at my wit's end here. I don't know if I want to work out or leave. I feel betrayed right now. I'm 30. I want to start a family, but I don't think I can trust her enough. She showed me she blocked her boyfriend, gave me her socials and passwords, but I still don't feel the feeling of trust and love. 10 January, we had a talk. She again cried and asked, "What are we?" She told me she would do anything to make things right, but if I chose divorce, she will accept it. She accepted her faults, but I really don't know how to feel right now. We still sleep in separate rooms. Guys, advise me regarding this, please." And she started sleeping with OP while she was still in a relationship with her boyfriend. As terrible a situation as this has been on everyone in the story, she is by far the most dishonest and terrible person in this story. How do you think her boyfriend must have felt knowing his girlfriend was routinely having sex with someone else? She is a complete wreck and should have been faithful to one man, especially with her whole spiel about how she has a boyfriend that she loves, just to end up ducking another man freely. To me, it took way too much happening for her to come to her senses. She let this go on for years, sleeping with you both. She was told by multiple people she was making mistakes. She wasn't supportive, she wasn't there for you, and she didn't choose you for years. It was only when she saw that other people were interested in you that she wanted you and you alone. That's not love, that's just jealousy. So neither of you had feelings for each other when you met. Both of you had other partners, and you married out of obligation to your families. Because of this, you permitted her to have a partner with some conditions attached. Eventually, you two developed feelings for each other. She tried to end her other relationship and ultimately came to her senses. If you hadn't allowed the relationship to begin with, I'd say 100% leave. But you did, and as a result, you're in a really difficult situation. If you still love her, I think you should go to therapy together and redraw the boundaries of your relationship to be exclusive and work on rebuilding trust. It will take time, but with a good therapist, I think you can, especially when you already grew to love each other once. I wonder if there are even therapists who specialize in arranged marriages. If you absolutely feel that you can't redraw these boundaries and trust her, I wouldn't waste her time or yours, and figure out how to split as amicably as possible. My girlfriend, 27, has been unemployed for 3 years. She used to work at a restaurant near to where we live. The restaurant was about 6-7 minutes walk away, so she liked this job since it didn't require any commute. Ever since she lost her job, I've been asking her to apply for new ones and try getting one. For about 2 years, I didn't bring it up because of pandemic. About 2 months ago, I asked her to again look for a job because it was really putting a lot of stress on me as the sole breadwinner. I was saving less than $150 a month for our future. She did start looking, and after 2 weeks, I also started helping her with it. I found out that a position of a receptionist was opening up in my company, warehouse department, so I asked her to apply. Since the position just opened up, there weren't many applicants, and I talked to the HR manager, who is a good friend of mine, to give my girlfriend the job. Since there weren't other applicants at the time, this did not breach my company policy. I still made sure with my boss regarding this, and she was fine with it. Girlfriend went into the job, and she hates it because it is in the warehouse and she doesn't have a fancy office. I told her to stick around and work a year, and she might get promoted and that the pay is better than her previous job. Before, she used to make $30K a year, and now it is $42K, which is a pretty solid jump in my opinion. A week later, she told me that she wants to quit because this isn't her thing, and my suggestion to her was that she can continue to look for the job she likes, and as soon as she finds one, she can quit here. She was clearly upset by having to do this job, so I sit her down on Sunday, and she is upset that I didn't get her an office job like mine. 1. There is no vacancy right now. 2. She isn't qualified or has prior experience with what I do in the office, so it was unlikely she would have gotten it, but I told her that when a vacancy opens up, I'll see what I can do. She mumbles all the time that I want her to do labor-intensive job and like to see her suffer. She mumbles pretty loudly to make sure I hear it. She is responsible for making sure everything delivered to us is correct and counting boxes and supervising staff, putting them into their designated places. After this, she needs to go to accounts and submit a report. Her job does require a lot of walking and standing. After getting tired of hearing this for 2 to 3 weeks, I asked her if she wants to quit. She can, and I'll just pay for everything, and then she can look for the job she wants to do. Honestly, this seemed like the only way to make her stop always being mad and saying stuff under her breath. I'm getting the feeling she doesn't want to go back to work, but I could be wrong. I've tried communicating to her that if I earn alone, we won't save anything for the future, and if we have children, we won't have anything saved up for their college and higher education. Nothing I say seems to faze her. What should I do? I sometimes don't even want to be with her, but we have made it work for 7 years, and most of it has been pretty good. Any advice? I mean, maybe you need to sit her down and explain that when you break up with her, she will be paying for 100% of everything. So she can either get her crap together now or later, but she is getting her crap together. I hope your game plan isn't to marry this princess. Crap's going to get real bad for you once you are married to her. This is only the tip of the iceberg once your princess thinks she has you trapped. Update. I broke up with her last week. At the start of the year, she just went in and told the HR manager that she won't be coming in anymore. She didn't even think once about running this through me and give me a heads up. So I had some explaining to do. But my boss understood the situation and told me to relax because I tried to do a good thing for someone, but not appreciating it is not on me. After this, when I was breaking up with her, she told me if I didn't, she'll go back to work ASAP, and her parents also reassured me that they will also try to get her to go to work and stick to it. Last week, she brought up becoming a stay-at-home mom and us having 2 or 3 children in the next 4 or 5 years, and that was pretty much the last straw. We were back at square one. This time, I broke up with her, and she moved today. I also told her parents I won't be able to help them anymore, and they can return me the money they owe me when they get back off the ground. Right now, I feel like crap, but also a little relieved. Start of 2022, I also started going to therapy because I need it. Not gonna lie, I was a little offended when someone recommended therapy for me, but it is the way to go. Gonna stay single for a couple years, and with the money I'll be saving now, I'll do things I always wanted but couldn't. I always wanted to get a PPL, so I'm looking into getting into a flight school with flexible timings and within my budget. I did some quick math, and now I would be saving a very good amount of money with her and her family gone. Someone in the last post said that she won't do what I'm doing for her, which I think might be true. But this seems like a good benchmark for me to use in my future relationships.